Hello you dirty potters, how are you today? In today's video we are doing yet another product review for the Sanbao company. So we are going to abuse these a little bit today. Oh, hold on, it comes with instructions. Okay, cut them up, wet them down, put them on the pot, wait for them to dry, make sure excess water is off, put it in the kiln at cone 019. We could do that, that's easy. That's actually like a 5-hour firing, so let's do that. The way I've generally used lusters and overglazes in the past is that if I get a pot that I wasn't really happy with and didn't get the proper color that I wanted, I knew that I can kind of zhuzh it up by using a little bit of gold luster or mother of pearl, and there's entire accounts that make their living off of just kind of getting basic mugs and putting underglaze decals on them and putting a little bit of mother of pearl on them. So it's a good idea. I'm not really someone who makes things specifically to have that aesthetic in mind, but every now and then I will in fact get a pot that I was unsatisfied with, or one that I think has a beautiful contrast, and kind of put one of these on it. For example, this is my Greymon V2 glaze. It turns out Greymon V2 is actually, technically, like an iron crystal glaze and looks like this most of the time. It's a phase separation iron crystal glaze. The problem is, if you overfire it, it ends up killing the crystals. This thing was fired twice, so it killed the high majority of the crystals. And I know if I fire it more, I'm not going to get more crystals. This little bit that I have here will go away, much like the stuff over here did. But I also don't want to chuck it or anything, and that is where these overglazes come in. We also have this, which was previously a Sanbao tester that I had to wipe off. And even though I wiped off the underglaze transfer, it still didn't go away completely. You can still kind of see a lot of it right there. So maybe we can cover this with some of this. These are the two that we're putting in the kiln today. We're probably going to do it at cone 018, just because it also says on the instructions that we can go in between, let's see here, cone 017 and 018. It seems very strange to say, but a lot of the times if my pot fails more than twice and I refire it, sometimes I just kind of get rid of it. I've used luster glazes before, but I've never actually used overglazes. So let's see how that works. Let's take this Merlin one here. That one will barely fit. Okay, we put it in the water. Oh, okay, it curled up nice there. Okay, how long do I leave it in for? Oh, 30 seconds. Okay, it's past that already. Okay, all right. It says that it should naturally separate from the cardboard backing. Let's take this off. Oh, it does. It just separates. Easy, easy there.
No! 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 No!
That was actually way easier than I anticipated. Okay, let's see if we can fix this one and give it some zhuzh. Everybody's gonna have to become real cool with how illiterate I am real quick. So in the first recording of this video, I was reading the instructions, and as I was reading them, / not reading them, I noticed this picture right here. This picture to me, looked like somebody was peeling off like this way, like, you know what I mean, like a sticker, like a normal sticker, that the footage that I recorded already with the two that I already used, I technically put on backward. Oh, Dante, why don't you just read the instructions? Okay, two things. Two things you guys have to remember about me. Number one, I'm a man, okay? And I mean that in the most stereotypical way ever. I don't read the instructions, I do a thing, I mess up real hard, and then I go dig them out of the trash and have to admit to my wife that I did it wrong the first time. Okay? And if she's not home, I'll pretend like I did it the first time. That being said, we have to do it again. And now that I know I have to slide it out like this onto the cup while holding a certain part down, I'm not going to take this white part off because this white part is going to allow me a little bit of extra stability. Generally, I want it to be a little cleaner and I'd cut this off. So if you're using these, try and remember, you can leave a little bit of that little part there. Listen to me giving advice like I didn't do it wrong the first time. Let this soak in a little bit of water. We're going to take this one we had before, put it right here, and I should be able to slide it off take the one we had before, and we should be able to just slide it out from under itself. Okay, that is the least even thing I've ever seen in my life. So this is the way we're supposed to use it. We're supposed to hold it down with one of our fingers here, put it on the pot very gently, hold it, and slide this out as we hold it. It's difficult to see, but now it is correctly applied. Let's put this and one more in the kiln. One right. And I guess it's okay to touch it with your fingers. Otherwise, how would you hold it down as per instructions? Which I have read. I am very willing to bet that Sanbao's customer service is full of people calling them who are saying like, oh, it didn't work, but really they, like myself, just didn't read the instructions all the way, and they put them on upside down like I did in the first part of this video. Okay, let's fire these 3 off like we did the last ones and see how they come out. Okay, now that our lusters are out of the kiln, let's take a look. Ooh, a little bit hot. Ooh. Should have waited, but also not going to. That is big right there. So Sanbao actually did send me an assortment of different types of these. As you saw before with that sheet, I thought they'd be a good fit for the upcoming Halloween season, so we have this many left. Although I do want to point out that in the future, I think I would probably use these to accent something. They also sent me a package of these gold luster type overglaze feathers that we could have used, and I didn't use those just because I want to save those for a different occasion. But I am very happy with this result. Here, let me see if I can find them. I'm pretty sure I still have them. Yeah, we do also have these. And if you weren't going for the spoopy vibes, like what I got right here, I think you can very easily take a black normal high gloss glaze and just put these on the 3rd firing and just stick them on there like we did in the video, and they would look gorgeous. Judging by the first correct firing we got with these overglazes on, I personally would use these to accent things that came out of the kiln in an undesirable way the first time. For example, I have this kind of jar over here, and the jar came out fine, but it didn't come out the color I wanted it to come out. I could probably very easily put some of these feathers on there and make them a little bit more desirable on online shops and on markets. I know that kind of sounds like I didn't get the pot that I wanted the first time, so now I'm trying to make it more golden and beautiful to make sure it sells. But if I'm being really honest with you, sometimes that's the name of the game. If you do run a shop and you are trying to make your pots look, you know, appeasing, as we are visual artists, then you would want your pots to look more visually appealing. So if you got a combo out that didn't work in your favor, you could very easily accent them with a 3rd overglaze firing with these, and it'd probably look a lot better. I know I'm gonna get hate comments for that. Okay, so you just mess up on a pot and you think you can make it all better? You think you can make it all better by just putting a little golden feather on there? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Have you seen the state of Etsy? Okay, those pots sell. So the answer is yes. You might be a hater, all right? You're drinking a haterade. I actually showed you this one first for a very specific reason. Do you see these little folds we're getting right here? That's because this is the first one that I put on after I retried, and these little folds are most likely from me not putting it directly flat down. So I do suggest you kind of straighten that out and flatten it out when you put those on, and try and get those folds and air bubbles out. On top of that, and this is totally my fault, on top of that, make sure your hands are clean when you touch and move these overglaze lusters around. Mainly because I had pizza right before I put this on, and you can probably see, where is it? I don't know if you can see it all the way, but you can most likely see a little oily thumb mark right there for me touching it just like that right there earlier. And it came out of the kiln like this. I cannot get this off. I have tried. So be careful for those two things. Firstly, watch out for those folds. And secondly, have clean hands before you handle these. And you can actually see that mistake happen in the second pot as well. even though this came out really nice with the snake venom overglaze, you can kind of see right there where my thumb touched the overglaze, where I just have a print, and it's like it doesn't come out, it's just there forever. So be very careful and handle these with clean hands if you are going to put them on for the third firing, which these require. I do really like how these are actual overglazes, because this is my Greymon V2 glaze. It just didn't take that well because it's a darker clay body, but this is technically one big phase separation glaze. And you can see it's absolutely ignoring my glaze. I feel like I can put these over any glaze and you would still see them, because this is a phase separation glaze. There's so many colors in this, and it ran right over it. And the same thing happened with this one here. This is technically a glaze combo. It just, the overglaze didn't care. Usually I would throw them away, but I'm getting comments in my YouTube videos down below of people saying stop throwing them away and being mad at me. So I'm gonna keep those ones. Otherwise, usually you would hear this sound. Yeah, that also wasn't the sound of me throwing one away. I just want to make sure that you know what the sound was when I do throw one away. That's what it would sound like if I did, but I didn't. When I was talking about some examples of having work kind of more visually appealing and revitalized just because the color didn't come out the way you wanted it to, this is the perfect example of that. This is actually my Greymon V2 glaze again. The problem is the color didn't come out like this, as it should, all the way over. It got a little too much heat over here, and it messed a lot of stuff up. So if this wasn't here, you know, this would actually make it a pretty good pot. You can see what I mean now when I talk about kind of making a pot more appealing that didn't come out the color you wanted it in the first place. This way you can kind of mitigate your seconds if you really need to. There's one key thing I do want to tell you before we leave this video, because this is the last pot. Do not put these in the microwave, okay? These are technically overglaze lusters, which means they are made with actual metal. You should not ever put these in the microwave. Don't do it. You know, I might get some flack in the comments below for saying it, but the more I embed myself into the art world, the more I realize that, like, no one, it's kind of like being at the gym. Nobody cares. You know, there's tons of people out there who are like, oh yeah, using a Giffen grip is cheating, and opening from really high instead of opening like a donut shape first and then pulling it with all the strength of all the mighty winds of Isgamor is cheating. It's just like being at the gym. You think everyone's looking at you. No one is concentrated on you. No one cares. If it fills your expressive cup and you like doing it and it's something that fulfills you artistically, go ahead and do it. There is a fine line with that, but please go ahead and do it. And again, I might catch some flack for saying that, but if you get some undesirable pots out of the kiln, you can always accent them with a third luster firing with some Sanbao little golden feathers. I'm actually going to do that, to be honest with you, because I think these are cool. But thank you again for joining me for the review of the Sanbao overglaze transfers. Hopefully you guys like these types of reviews. This is the last Sanbao video that we're doing for this section. Remember to click all those YouTube buttons, and I will see you, Dirty Potters, next week.
Thank you for your patronage.
The second thing is that I'm real American, okay? Our literacy rates are real low, okay? So this is a compounding issue that I have.